How's everyone doing? So, my name's Eddie. Of course, I'm a spoken word poet. But I don't just perform poetry. I like to think I have conversations. So if I say something on stage that you like, can you give me a little snap, please? I'm gonna start this off by actually telling everyone a secret. I am from the Hamilton Youth Poets, but truth be told, I did most of my early years in Toronto. I used to live on Steeles and Kipling. I see there's some Torontonians in the building. My dad actually used to teach here at York a very long time ago. Yeah, he used to teach statistics. So when I find it very ironic when they're like, yeah, we want you in for the data and stories part. And I was like, where? They're like, at York. And I was like, really? This is so interesting. So it's only right that I open with a poem about my dad. My father's a statistician, which means he sees numbers and can tell you a story, like how my monthly balances are proof that I am a poet, or my free throw percentage, evidence I am a soccer player. He sees numbers and can tell you a story. He reads percentages like witches read tea leaves, knows statistics like capitalism knows exploitation, breathes probability the same way photos exhale nostalgia. My father thinks in numbers. He knows the odds of randomly freezing to death are 1 in 3 million, but his immigrant mind on a December day will tell him otherwise. He knows that you were 2.5 times more likely to get in a fight when you have half a family. Stat lines like that read like an open wound. And I become a percentage sign, a line dividing two different circles of people. That's why, despite the divorce rates and the variables, he remains married to my mother, ensuring there is no substitution for his affection. And this is how I learned of love. I wonder, what greater love is that than that of a statistician? To feel at home with charts and numbers, but dare to go into uncharted territories. To know the odds and go against them anyways. What type of magic math is this? To turn a son from 18% chance of post-secondary to graduating with 84% average. To turn 11.2 unemployment into middle class. What type of magic math is this? You know randomly that 53% of people rely on the stars to tell their future. You told me my future was to become one. And I wonder, who taught you how to love like this? To defy the odds over and over and over again until it becomes standard deviation. I guess when your whole life revolves around numbers, you work hard as hell not to be one. Ooh, I like the snaps. You guys are catching on. I like this. And I also thought the theme of today was really interesting. The youth, the work, and the system. I thought that was really cool. So growing up, my dad always emphasized education, and my mom was very much the hands-on person. She was always the one wanting to give back. She was volunteering at the church and things like that. And being around here, and I was eating lunch, and I'm a person who likes to eavesdrop. I like to eavesdrop and people watch. So I was eavesdropping, and I was hearing all the great things we're doing in the community, and I just got super excited that so much is happening here in my old community, and I just reminded me of my mother. So of course, if I do a poem about my dad, I'm gonna hear from mom. Mom's gonna be like, "Hey, Eddie, you did poems out in York University. You didn't mention me. Eh? Your father has a single parents. I have 2 kids, but I'm about to have 1. So it turns out I'm bad at gardening. The only pedals I know go on bikes. The only plants I know are factories, which makes sense. I grew up idolizing the man of steel and was raised by an iron fist. Give a man a shovel, and all he knows how to do is dig a grave. My mother tells me it takes a different type of love to garden. You must be willing to get messy, dig deep in what has been dead and buried, and provide warmth until it becomes beautiful. She tells me it takes a different type of faith to garden. You must literally get down to earth. She tells me we come from a long line of gardeners. Why else do you think they call it a family tree? Why else do you think they say getting in touch with your roots? And I'm a bad gardener. I'm known for neglecting my buds. I leaf at the first sign of commitment. What do I know of growth? My mother stops me dead in my tracks and says, take a look around you. Look at all these people who just happen to be planted here. Don't you know that they too sow seeds? Don't you know that everything that isn't love withers? So the next time you see me holding the door open for someone, or just simply smiling, breathing, know I am trying my best to garden. I'm going to do one last poem. I thought the system was really interesting. And I wrote this this is a brand new piece. This is the first time I've ever done it. But I think this is the perfect place to do it. This is my old neighborhood. And gentrification is a very real thing that happens. I'm from Hamilton. Hamilton's booming, and everyone's like, oh, look at all this growth. But sometimes the growth is overlapping some of the stuff that is already existing. And I came back, I was doing a little drive when I was looking to find this place and to find where to park my car, because parking is difficult to find in Toronto. But I was looking at all the old neighborhoods, and I was looking at what's there now, and I thought that was very interesting. Imagine a barren school ground, a swing that only knows the embrace of wind. If you listen closely, you can still hear the laughter of children over the demolition crew. Cinematic juxtaposition, such irony, a school in ruins just to make way for the middle class. Tonight, and every night, an exclusive screening of the latest feature sweeping the country, gentrification. On the corner of James Street North, there is a Catholic church that's being remade in the image of condo. A hungry collection plate, a rent bill, residents drown in both debt and baptism. The church was originally built on top of a graveyard. The ghost can no longer afford to rest in peace. All praise be to the landlord, to the pastor, and past due. All praise be to Steel Mountain Horizon. On Barton Street, suburbia spreads like a fog. A pink eviction notice hangs like a bloodthirsty bat. The vultures salivate, and so do the bankers. Just up the road, a father of four is laid off from DeFasco. Budget cuts, outsourcing, expiring contracts, everything is dying at his graveyard shift. The barbershop, where I got my first haircut, is now a hair salon. And I watch as the culture fades. Gentrification. On James Street, there are now hipster bars where there used to be forests of maple trees. And these hipster kids stalk the block with their patchy beards and $7 coffee. A chocolate opens, and everyone forgets what once was. That this place, this city, used to be blue-collar. That shop used to be black-owned. That franchise was once a family restaurant. Gentrification. Here, parking is no longer free. Halloween is every day as developers stuff their pockets with condominium suites, trick or treat, gentrification. Time calls it a masterpiece. Capitalists call it worthy of several sequels. Neighborhoods call it every day nominated for the best special effects. Watch as they green screen out poverty and whitewash everything. Gentrification, what a brilliant director. Watch as they reduce all roles into extras. Everyone is expendable. Everything can be cut. Affordable housing, budget cuts, social programming, a new slasher flick, a timeless spin on a new spin on a timeless classic. Who prays for us as developers perform exorcism and drain the spirit out of a city? Gentrification, a real blockbuster, a real psychological thriller, and we watch on the edge of our seats as those who don't make it through the movie just end up in the trailer. How long until my neighborhood becomes a ghost town, until we have to speak to each other through a Ouija board? And I wonder, if all this is real, I know Black people are always the first to go in these kinds of movies. And I wonder how long it will take for them to come for me too. Where do all the ghosts go when they have no place left to haunt? Thank you so much for having me. You guys are so cool. Like, you guys are on point with the snapping thing. I love it. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. You can follow, I belong to Hamilton Youth Poets. Follow Hamilton Youth Poets, just Google us. We have Facebook, Instagram, all of them. If you want to follow me personally, I like to, I'm trying to get verified. Follow me at Tupac Shakespeare on Instagram. But thank you so much.